Okay, I think we're live.
All right.
I don't know who's going to be here. Well, we got a few people watching. So, hello everybody. Happy Sunday. If you hear some weird noises in the background, as always, that is our dog child, Ravi. And it looks like he's taking full advantage
Yeah.
of you being on camera to lay on your side of the bed.
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
so anyway.
Okay. Well, what were we going to talk about?
So, I had scheduled this as talking about controlled opposition, but I'm open to talk about other things too. But I wanted to kind of, all this stuff is coming out about hidden true crime potentially being controlled opposition. I know you are a fan of hidden true crime as well. We like Dr. John, but now so much has come out with the Mormon church, the LDS church, and perhaps maybe, and this is all speculation, guys. It's not fact. This is just speculation. The wife, Lauren, was a news anchor for like a mainstream media outlet.
Right.
And I'm not saying I don't think all news anchors are bad. I don't think all news anchors are corrupt. Like, this is nuanced, but there's a lot of speculation that her and John have been kind of injected into the YouTube world to like manage some of these like Mormon crimes, like Lori. And I know you're not super familiar with it. You don't really get, that's more my thing because I'm really interested in like weird belief systems, and no offense to any Mormons, but it kind of got me thinking, because so many people are talking about this possibility that they're controlled opposition. And this is something that I have been screaming for years now, isn't it? About controlled opposition, especially in the quote unquote like truther world or disclosure world. And it's almost like people, like I get these emails from people or comments from people where they're like, oh, bless your heart, you just don't understand. And these are people who like just woke up. Whereas this guy's been awake since 2001. And here, the one that really got me into this idea that not everything you hear is fact-based. Some of it is controlled opposition. Some of it is to get you into a conspiracy cul-de-sac. The establishment, the system, if you will, the elites are many things, but stupid is not one of them. And oh, cool. Hey, Jen's she's awesome. She's in Texas.
Yeah, cool.
Don't mess with Texas. And when I first got on YouTube, I would kind of hear these ideas and I'd run to you and be like, oh my God, did you hear about this? Did you hear about this? And you would be like, wait a minute. Like, let's just see where this goes, because this is not your first rodeo.
Right. Yeah. And so usually when new information comes out and it's sort of shocking, quote unquote, truths that come to the surface, or something that looks like a truth that comes to the surface, I usually say, give it a couple weeks before
and let's see. Yeah.
Let's see how it pans out. And then you kind of get a little bit clearer of a picture.
Yeah, and I do think that junk conspiracy cul-de-sac that people that it's I think the controlled opposition. Hello everybody, we've got Rhonda. Hey, Midwest Night Watchers. We were just talking about you guys, and Todd was like, do you have any moderators? I was like, well, if Midwest Night Watchers is around, I was like, I'm not going to force people to moderate.
It's really kind of you all to be here.
Yeah,
and to help out Bryce.
And if you guys go check out their channel, Midwest Night Watchers channel, you guys, because they have some really groovy stuff going on. And I was telling Todd that you guys like stay up all night doing lives and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of, and they're mutual friends with our friend. We have we're friends as well. But Jessica Jones is our mutual friend. And so it really got to me thinking, because you guys, I just finished yesterday. How long did I work on this?
A lot.
Like
13-hour days.
13-hour days to finish this document. I'm just going to hold it up. I'm not going to say the name of it, by Sergei Monast. And I'm a huge Sergei Monast fan. Rest in peace. He was taken out, we'll say, in 1996. And this is going to drop I divided it in two because otherwise it would be a 5-hour podcast. But the first part is going to drop on Tuesday. The second part is going to drop on Wednesday. It's going to be coming through my Substack. So if you go down and look for my Substack, if it's not in the description box, guys, I'll put it in the description box after we're done. But I will, it'll get emailed to your directly to your email, or you can go and subscribe to my channel on RUMBLE. It'll also drop there. This cannot be on YT. It can't be on YT. So anyway, after a couple of days of really digging through Sergei Monast, stuff from the 1990s. Now, obviously, some of this has changed because we are now 1994. We're 31 years in, almost 32 years in from when this was written.
And technology has changed.
Well, it's so funny. He talked about in one of them, he talked about the electronic highway that was going to happen. And this was in the early 90s. I was like, oh, he's talking about the internet, right? And I would be curious to see what old Sergey would think of our, smartphones tracking us now. He seemed to think that the NWO was gonna make its presence known in the year 2000, but obviously that's been pushed back. And actually, in this new set of documents, he does say that the Americans are the reason why their rollout has had to be pushed back. He talks about these. You can't say this on YT. Mm-hmm. The pew-pews. He talks about how before we had this happening in the schools, we'll say, they had this huge propaganda campaign about rugs, we'll say. Well, you can't say the DRUG word either. And the dealers, and they tried to convince American people that if you owned one of these, that you must be a rug. You must be in the business of rugs, we'll say. And Americans basically, it backfired because Americans were like, WTF, and the sales of these went up. And so that's when they started then on the schools to try to get the Americans to give up these. And it still keeps backfiring.
Well, yeah, because America is a stronghold of
freedom. Right.
Right. Yeah. And so the
NWO will say
the NWO can't be completely rolled out and become public if the American Constitution
and talk about that
still stands. And
yeah.
So that's the other reason why we're in this financial war that we're in now, is because that's another way they're trying to take us out, is through financial means. And that's why there's a lot of battle going on about the reserve currency and everything like that. And so,
they talk about that. They basically say the only thing that is saving the world from going into this form of enslavement is the United States Constitution. Mm-hmm. They say that over and over and over again, that the Americans are not going to give up their Constitution. And that's true. And I will say, Todd, you've lived all over the world. I've lived all over the world. There really is no patriotism like Americans. Mm-hmm. It is common. When I was a kid, you see American flags on every house. I just recently learned, how the American flag isn't supposed to touch the ground. Mm-hmm. I remember my mom and dad making my sister and me, they would change the plan, teaching us how to fold it and not let it touch the ground. We take that very seriously, and we take our Constitution seriously. And I think that the American country is, from the American Revolution till now, is still so new to us. It's still such a new, it's still in our DNA. And I think that might be kind of wavering now on purpose, because, and that's what Sfali used to say. You introduced me to Sfali, mm-hmm. the first whistleblower from the late 90s, early 2000s. And she kept saying, it's the Americans. The America is the problem for the establishment, mm-hmm. because of this thing called the Constitution. And that is also what is being said. And so they're doing everything they can to undermine the American. I find it fascinating. And I think a lot of times, I was thinking about this morning, I was listening to some history podcasts, and I think Americans get really kind of obsessed with European history, is because it's personal to us. I know it's personal to Europeans as well, but we look at these tragedies and these things that were happening in Europe before 1492, which what was the straw that broke the camel's back, that sent our ancestors to say, screw it, I'm going over to that new place. I don't want to deal with this. How bad did it have to get with the wars of religions, with the restoration, with the burnings, for people, for all the Americans, for our ancestors to go, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to go take my chances over there. And so I think that's why it's deeply personal to us. And I think we remember that. I think our parents raised us, or at least mine did. We don't believe in a monarchy in the United States. We don't believe, literally, that's the first part of the Declaration of Independence. That's BS. We don't believe people are above the law, and we're all equal, and we're all subject to the same law. And so this I listened to, I'll have to show you, Todd. There's this, and I cannot remember this guy's. If I find him on my Instagram feed, I'll tag him in the description box. He's an Australian kid. I say kid, he's like in his 20s, who immigrated over to the United States as an Australian because he loves how like scrappy we are, and how, and I listened to him talk about in this podcast that the Americans, like, we're rebels. Like if you look at history, America is a country of rebels, of people who buck the system. We were the Americans were the original conspiracy theorists. We were the original freedom fighters. You know, you and I both have direct descendants who fought in the American Revolution, and they walked into certain unaliving because they were going up against the greatest military, but they would rather take their chances and live, as I keep saying, dangerously free than be stuck under a reign of a monarch for one more day. And so I think that's where the establishment is having a really hard time. They cannot convince us. In Europe and other parts of the world, they're historically used to having a monarch. And our ancestors had a monarch as well before they said, screw that, we're going to go over here and we're not doing this game anymore. So I think it's been easier for them in Europe because they're used to having Big Brother telling them what to do. They're used to having that. But the Americans are like, this is not, just get out of here with that. Like, that's not what this, literally the crux of our country is. Like, we don't believe in a monarchy. We don't believe in a monarchy. So you can't, there's no establishment at that point. The government, the Constitution is created to protect the people from the government, not the other way around. And so they do say that, like, so they keep saying that we are the thorn in the establishment side, the Americans. We're the last beacon of, and even General Flynn said that, like, what, in like 2020 or something, that if America falls, the world falls. Like, we're it. There's nowhere else to go. Like, this is it. So don't give up these. And we're not. We've proven that every time they push for these to be removed, we push back harder. But
it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm building up to like the controlled opposition thing.
Yeah.
So what seems to have happened, if you step back and look around the early 2000s and how this is tying into like the truther community today, is that they started to talk about this idea of like a dumb American, a stupid American. I'm sorry. I mean, they're dumb people all over the world. It doesn't matter what country you're in. They're dumb people, but they're also really brilliant people too. And I think that this was definitely part of their like Trojan horse. Like, if they can't topple America from the outside, they're going to try to go in as a Trojan horse and lower the morale of Americans in order to decimate our Constitution so that they can take over. And this is where it kind of brings us today. As I was going through Sergei Monast's stuff, and I got kind of emotional because he kept talking about the UN. I'm only going to say that one time. We'll say the special global military, right? And at this point, where we stand with our Constitution, because the people rule, that special military really has no jurisdiction on American soil. And so how do we get the Americans to accept this foreign military to come in and rule? Because that special military is the NWO, right? And I got chill bumps because I kept thinking about this story of the white hats. You get what I'm going with this?
Yeah, but I don't think that they were ever supposed to be considered that, because they were exposed for who they really were years ago.
Yeah, but you're not. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. So the special military, we all know that. Everybody knows that this special, I don't want to say the full name, but the global military, we all know. I mean, everybody knows that they're some of the biggest criminals it's organized crime, basically.
About the UN?
Yeah, don't say it too many times.
Okay.
Yeah. The United of Countries, we'll say. The uniting of all these countries, these nations, that one. Well, but I'm talking about a Trojan horse. So he talks about the uniforms they wear, that they're not designed to be a specific like country. And, in our Constitution, it states that if a government in the future, so when our forefathers wrote the Constitution, they basically said, in the future, it's highly likely, because people are violent, humans are violent, that we're going to have a situation where the government is going to get tyrannical again. And our forefathers basically said, it's up to the people at that point to remove that government. In our constitution, it's the people's responsibility. It's not the military's responsibility. Certainly not the government's responsibility to remove themselves. It's the people's responsibility. So why is it in the quote unquote truther community, we have now accepted that this military, this outside force, is going to come in and save us when that's not in the Constitution? And it sounds to me a lot like that the white hats it's a manipulation of the global military. So if people see them coming in and because if martial law is called, guys, we lose our constitutional rights. That's the one thing that will pull the Constitution, is if martial law is called. And so if martial law is called and we see this military coming in, how many Americans are going to think that's the white hats when it's not? It's our own demise. Does that make sense?
I never thought about it like that.
I didn't either until I went through this, and I was like, oh shit, when I went through this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's if they're planning on bringing anyone in, especially at this point. I thought that the whole white hat narrative was just to make people complacent.
That's what I'm saying.
But I thought you were just saying that if they're
going to be complacent,
mm-hmm.
and then this foreign military is going to come in, and they're going to think that instead of fighting back, and so many people just don't know the Constitution. I mean that kind of gets into the whole idea of being dangerously free. Like, that's America is about being dangerously free.
And that could have been one of their plans, but I don't think that's going to be a future plan.
You don't think so?
I don't. No.
So let's talk a little bit. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, the way that the controlled opposition, the way that the establishment, the system creates mind games with people. And we're seeing that. And it's so crazy because I get so many people who like leave comments, like talking down to me. Like, I just don't understand that we're going to get these checks out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, good morning, Australia. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm a little bit more realist. Like, it sounds like the whole MedBed Nasara thing sounds like that they're trying to get us unhealthy, broke, and complacent so that we're not strong enough to fight back. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I got done with the Dragon Collective. I got done with your third episode of Sergey's late this morning, and I'm still a bit shook. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? I really highly suggest you guys, RIP Sergey Monast. It is, there are quite a few that have been, Blue Beam was 2. And then we did the Toronto protocols.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got this one that's dropping this week. It's wild, the stuff. I mean, they took him out. That's how dangerous he was. They took him out. Yeah, we already lost. Yes. A lot of speech, yep. And Amy, it's crazy because so many people are like, oh, YouTube's not censoring anymore. Yes, they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. They are. They still are. They absolutely still are. And so I wanted to kind of go back in, because, you're very respected. You've been in this, you woke up in 2001. We can't say the event.
Right.
That is a trigger. So you woke up because of what happened
in New York.
New York in September of 2001. So can you kind of start, like, you had just gotten back from really an extended time in India. So you've been working on yourself through your yoga practice. And you always say that the yogis were the original conspiracy theorists because they were like, something's not right, and they went internally to work on themselves. And you had kind of gone on that. You're a military kid. You grew up traveling all over the world. Your dad was in the Coast Guard. You'd followed the rules of the system. And then you went to India. And then in 2001, we had this big thing happen. How old were you?
I don't remember.
29.
Was that 29?
Yeah.
Yeah, 29.
I was 18.
Right. Yeah, 29. And I just,
speak up.
I just remember, things not fitting together with what I was watching on the television. And and so that's when I started getting into conspiracy stuff. And I had just gotten my first laptop computer and just started doing deep dives way before there was such a thing as deep dives on the internet, and started uncovering a lot of stuff. And got really wrapped up with doing research and, looking back, it served its purpose, but I really don't focus on a lot of that stuff now. It really doesn't
Well,
mean a whole lot to me. Yeah, I got what?
you got, oh, Amy, you came from the Hidden True Crime stuff. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Kresha. I think Kresha is right on the money in what she's going through and what she's exposing. And I will do anything I can to get her stuff out there because she's in it. Like I can view this stuff as a spectator, but like what she was JJ Vallow's aunt. And
Oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So, and she basically figured out that this was all part of like their unalivings were more ritualistic in nature.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and she kind of is unwinding the LDS church. That's how she kind of exposed Lauren as being controlled opposition.
Yeah.
So oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. We're all a community, guys. I don't, Todd and I don't have all the answers at all. We're just trying to figure it out with everybody else. And what's it, Aristotle's one of my favorite quotes by Aristotle, it's a sign of an intelligent mind when you can entertain an idea without accepting it. And you're really good at doing that.
Now I am, yeah.
And it's because you've been burned.
Right, so many times, yeah, just following the breadcrumbs of junk conspiracy. And, conspiracy theories and diving into that stuff, it serves its purpose. But eventually I feel like that you got to be careful not to get stuck in that cul-de-sac and to move on to other things.
I mean, at the end of the day, and all through Sergei Monast's paperwork, the documents, so Sergei Monast was an investigative journalist. He's French Canadian, and I was surprised you'd never heard of him.
No, I had heard of him before. Yeah,
oh, had you?
And I had heard all the stuff that he had talked about.
So
sure. I just didn't read his books.
Okay, so Sergei Monast, if you know the term Bluebeam, that's because of Sergei Monast. He was an investigative journalist, a French Canadian investigative journalist, and he stumbled upon in like the late 1900s all these documents about this globalist agenda, we'll say. And he made connections with other investigators here in the United States. And so he put together all of his research. He tried to take it to publish it on a more national syndicated media outlet in Canada, but they wouldn't do it. And so he opened up his own agency, the Free Press Agency, where he published. And literally when you order these things, guys, like they're not fully, it's not like a book. Like he literally just takes these documents. Like this one has a lot of documents. So he shows you like all the documents that he's received, and then he sums it up for you about what they say. And bless his heart, he apologizes a lot in these transcripts because French is he's not an English speaker. French is his native language. And so sometimes they're a little hard to read because he like writes in fragmented sentences. Sometimes he misspells things, doesn't do the punctuation right. But God bless him, his English is way better than my French. And I thank him for like actually doing that for us. And so he is the one that really started to put all this information out. And I never realized like how much was actually associated with Bluebeam. It's not just about the holograms, right? There's so much associated with Bluebeam.
Is that the technology they're using to put thoughts into people's heads?
That thought, the mind thought, the skull
and
thought.
People think, and they were saying back then that there were going to be a lot of people that thought that they were channeling.
Yep. He talked about that there was going to be a rise in channelers because people were having thoughts put in their head. And basically in one of the documents, the establishment basically says like the antidote to all of this is kind of what Patabi Joy said, is being able to question your own thoughts. Like if the masses, the people, the peasants, us, if we were able to like question our thoughts, that would end their plans. That would end the establishment. But so many people cling to their thoughts as like real, and it's real, and they don't just question, have discernment, like don't believe everything you think. And that's literally what yoga teaches you. Yoga Chittavritti Nirodha. It's like literally yoga is like control your mind. Like as Patabi Joyce would say, yoga is you controlling your own mind.
Not being reactive to your
thoughts, but having discernment. And so it's so funny that literally was what the establishment said was going to be the antidote. But yet we also see at the same time this huge smear campaign on yoga through like religion, and it's like, holy crap, they are literally covering all of their bases to make sure that people don't ever find out. Do you know they're also going to fake a rapture?
I've heard about that.
So they're not only, so the real Bluebeam is they're going to put Jesus in the sky. They're going to put Jesus in the sky.
Or the fake alien invasion.
And the fake alien invasion, and Jesus is going to come in the sky, and they're going to fake a rapture. And so, and then they talked about how they're going to they're going to really do things to energize the religious zealots. We all know those. And so that they're going to go on like a massive unaliving spree, these religious zealots, taking out anybody who's like questioning, that's questioning this blue beam stuff. And basically with the mind to skull technology, when Jesus appears, which is actually Cesare Borgia, if you've been on my channels, he was the Pope's son that they modeled Jesus, the picture after, so everyone would have the same image in their head. With the mind to skull technology, they're going to be able to have Jesus talk to you in your head in whatever language and dialect is yours. Right? So for like this deep Southern people, it's going to be real deep Southern accent. Right. And so, I mean, unbelievably maniacal, but it's terrifying because
I don't even know if they can roll that out now, because I feel like too many people have heard about it. That's another thing. That's another good thing about getting this information out, is that when more people know about their plan,
their dastardly plan,
then they have to change their plans. And when they have to change their plans, then it takes a whole reworking. And then if those plans are exposed, and they have to do another reworking, because, you know, they're always going to stand a chance of being called out. And if they make a big blunder, a huge blunder like this, they rolled this out and a bunch of people just sort of looked up at the sky and laughed. Then they blew their cover.
And well, it's very easy, guys. They're on, like, I think sometimes we think that it's like done and over, like, but they're very like fragile, like. And that's it, because basically they keep saying, like, if the people just say no, we're done. Like, we can't do anything.
And then when people hear about this information and it doesn't happen, that's actually a good thing, you know, because their plans have been foiled because too many people know about it. And I think they have a way of being able to judge how the population is thinking.
Like, they look at my channel that's censored. They look at our stuff, and then, but they can't control these other platforms that we put the full that grant us freedom to speak. The only thing is they're trying to get kind of like I can't tag RUMBLE in the description box anymore, because they've caught on to it. So I have to just spell it out and just hope to the best that it gets out to the right people. And this is, again, I mean, what I'm doing is I'm just going through the document Sergei Monast, and then giving commentary, because obviously they talked a lot about how they were going to work with gangs to get them to be like disposable police for the establishment. And they were talking about like the Bloods and the Crips, like back in the 90s. But then it got me thinking about, and I don't know if I can say these words.
Antifa.
The gangs that we saw in 2020 in the Summer of Love, those people, people, and no one would do that. Yeah. And some people are going to be, and listen, and this is why I tried to remove myself from the trip. Just instead of talking about this stuff, this is the stuff that matters, because we have the documentation. This isn't a theory. He has all the documents. This is real. But instead of people focusing on like what is really important about our safety and our survival against this elite group, what are people in the truther community totally focused on? Nasara medbeds.
Right. Instead of taking care of their own health and their own financial well-being, they want someone else to come in and do it.
Take it all for them, which is not the American way. That's not the American way. And I said that I was like, if you think that if you're waiting for someone to come and rescue you, then you are not a patriot. You bring shame to the American country, because that is not, the last part of the Declaration of Independence always gives me like chill bumps. The very last part, because they say, and I'm paraphrasing, we pledge our lives to each other. Meaning we will give our lives in this battle for freedom. And most of the truthers, especially Americans, they're sitting around like entitled, spoiled narcissists, waiting for someone to give them a private plane and a get skinny, easy tanning bed. They can just get in, and all of a sudden they're 20 years younger. And it's like, that's not being dangerously free. And my mom always used to tell us that she would always, so my parents are big Republicans, but they're kind of like centrists. Like they're not, my parents.
Mhm.
It's more my mom always used to say, I vote with my pocketbook. I vote with my pocketbook. Pocketbook, that's very Southern, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
A pocketbook. Her purse. And I remember my mother growing up would teach us like the difference between like the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. And that the Republican Party did not want a lot of government. That the Republican Party was for less government, wanted people to be more responsible for themselves, and that the Democrats wanted more government control. And I remember my mom saying, now here's the thing, that sounds nice, having somebody taking care of you. However, if you allow somebody to take care of you, you allow them to control you. And that always stuck with me. And so when I see these truthers talking about med beds and Nasara, I'm like, how is this any different than communism? Right? Just because it's, I don't know. And so and so you got stuck in some of, what's the purpose, Todd, of junk conspiracy?
To keep you occupied on
Bullshit.
Yeah, right. That's really what it is. To have you wasting your time chasing your tail, trying to find out answers that are never going to lead you to any conclusion, and feeling like that you really understand what's going on. And so for me, I feel like the most important thing about this journey, in all aspects, whether it be spiritual or conspiratorial, is that you never hold on to anything too tightly. If you come upon a truth, you won't have to hold on to it. It will stick around
It will be the
on
truth.
its own. And so, I feel like when you're on this journey, whether it be the spiritual journey or the journey to find answers to some of these conspiracies of how our minds and our lives are being manipulated, the best advice I can get is not to hold on to anything too tightly, because you always have to have the room to shift things around when new information comes in. And so once you relinquish that tight hold on things that you think that and you release your grip, it's a huge relief to understand deeply that you're never going to have all the answers, because that's not what this life on this planet is about.
No.
And so yeah, it's liberating to be okay with not having all the answers, and also that when you don't hold on tightly to this information that you've gathered through your own research or other people's research, it just naturally makes you more flexible, and it makes it a lot more fun, and you don't have to constantly feel like that you have to apologize that you were wrong about something, because I could see, go back and look at myself, 20 years ago, and all the conversations I would get in with, whether it be like family or friends, and realize, yeah, I was really holding on to some crazy shit.
Yeah.
That now looking back, I realize that it was just a lot of lies, or a lot of at best half truths. And so,
You learned.
I got burned so many times through my own research that I was just threw up my arms and was like, fuck it. I don't need to feel like I have the answers. And
we know the important things. We know that they practice this weird religion, I'm just going to call it, where they do things with.
Which speaks kind of exposing. It was talked about many, many years ago, when I first started getting into conspiratorial stuff. They said that the Luciferians were eventually going to present themselves for what they really are. And I thought that was so wild. But now, if you look around,
they are presenting themselves.
Yeah,
just because they don't come out and say it.
That's the one thing. So the NWO, they haven't necessarily come out fully like they said they were going to come out, but the Luciferians have completely come out. You look at halftime shows at football games, or the Olympic opening ceremonies, or some of these huge musical, these huge artists in the music industry, and the way that their costumes and their stage setups and how they present themselves are all exposing the Luciferian cult. And so that's one thing that has definitely come to pass.
Oh, thank you, Kresha. I didn't know you were a long time subscriber to my channel. I would love to bring you on. No pressure, but if you want to, I literally, oh, awesome, girl. Well, I'll send you an email. Oh, that makes me want to cry, Kresha. I have so much compassion for you. I'm gonna get emotional.
Mhm.
I have so much compassion for you, and I am so sorry for what you've been through. I cannot imagine. Like researching this stuff is hard as it is to see what they do to innocent. We'll say we have to be careful, guys. I mean, YouTube is part of it, right? Is part of that system. But to research it from a distance, but then for you to have to like look into this stuff because it hit you so personally. And my heart goes out to you and your mom. And I'm so sorry that you found yourself here because of what happened. I can't even imagine. And I would love to also connect you to some other people as well, because my channel has been around for so long. I'm connected to some pretty big people that I trust with really big, just if you wanted to meet them, they have pretty big platforms, because your research, her research, you should watch. I watched your 5-hour one, Kresha. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of research she has done. Unbelievable. Into the Mormon church. And you didn't even grow up Mormon. I mean,
Yeah.
I listen, you guys, I am a weirdo at heart. I read the Book of Mormon even before we met. I think I'd read the Book of Mormon just to see what they believed. Like, yeah, that makes me, I will reach out to you. I'll send you an email, Kresha, for sure this afternoon, and I'll send you my phone number, and I would absolutely love to help in any way I can, because this is, I mean, I quote, if you've been around for a while, guys, I quote Ram Dass a lot, where he says, we're all just walking each other home. And that's what we're doing. We're all trying to figure this out together. And if you guys know, I read the Book of Mormon a long time ago because I'm weird, and I like to understand what people believe. And I had mixed feelings. I thought this is a really boring book, but it's also fucking wild. Like, this is wild. Like, what is this? But there's so much, like, I never read the Doctrine and Covenants. I never read the other stuff. But Mormonism has always really fascinated me, and it's very Luciferian. And I know we have a lot of Exmos on my channel, and they agree. But so is Christianity. Christianity is one of the pillars too. I mean, it doesn't mean that the Christ is bad. It doesn't mean that God is bad. And that's one thing you were talking about, not holding on so tightly. When I started going through the missing books of the Bible, that's when I really got so much pushback, which was wild to me, because on this side, we don't like censorship. But yet all these people who are anti-censored were telling me to stop reading the censored book. It was weird. Anyway, things got very weird. But I realized that this whole problem we have is really having to do with a system, like a system. You know, that's what it is. It's a system. And religion is part of that system. And I realized that for me, I was able to go through the missing books of the Bible, challenge the beliefs I was raised with as a Presbyterian as a kid, because my belief is actually in God beyond anything.
People feel comfortable in a box.
Yeah.
And so, and that stands true for even people in the conspiracy community. They feel comfortable in the box, whether they admit it or not. If you hold on to your beliefs too strongly, or the things you think you know are true, even in the conspiratorial world, that's creating a box. And so you just jumped out of one box into another box that you're creating. And the scary thing is, I feel, is when you quit holding on to things so tightly, all of a sudden you break the box down and no longer are you in the box. And so, that's what I realized looking back when I was in all these conspiracy theories is I built a box around myself of beliefs, even though it wasn't the mainstream box.
Yeah.
It was the new box. It was the new box of my making. And so, what are you laughing about?
I'm laughing because when we first started dating, I mean, there's some, obviously, like, microwaves are bad. We know microwaves are bad. You know what I'm going to talk about? When we first started dating, he was like, would not have a microwave in his house. And he was you were like a zealot over this microwave. And I kept thinking, oh my God, live a little. It's fine. I know they're bad for you, but like everything's kind of bad for you. So whatever. You went to the beach, the first trip you took with my family to the beach. My oldest nephew and oldest niece were like Charlie had just potty trained. So he was just potty trained. Jacqueline was still in diapers. And you realized when they started throwing their temper tantrums,
Uh-huh.
that microwave was a
Oh,
pretty
right,
handy
yeah,
tool to give them their mac and cheese.
right.
And so, yeah, you've loosened up a lot.
Mhm.
You've loosened up a lot since I met you.
Yeah, but it has very little to do with the microwave.
I know, but it's just a funny story about when we first started
Right,
dating. Like you were very like zealoty about some of these things.
Mhm.
And I
No,
I
microwave is
think
one
I'm a
of them.
bad experience. I'm a bad bad for you. No.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, you've loosened up a lot when it comes
Mhm.
to and I think it's because things have intensified, right? Like we
Yeah.
met like right before all this went down,
Mhm.
and when the world, and when I say all it went down, I'm talking about more like the 2016 election.
Mhm. And then
Um,
leading on
and then
to
leading up to
the fancy
2020,
flu.
the fancy flu, yeah, and then all where we are now.
Mhm.
And but you had me, I come from a family of doctors, so I was
Oh, that was
always
a battle.
okay with these. Like I didn't, you were the ones that was like would like fight me on that. And then when 2020 hit, but even though I don't get a lot of these because of my blood type.
Right. I remember that was the biggest challenge with you was was breaking you believing that modern medicine and all of modern medicine was just physicians trying to help or the industry trying to help. And
Yeah.
that was a tough one. We got in some big arguments
Yeah.
about that. And
I'm sorry, I'm reading Kresha's comment. I'm also a never Mo. Yeah, Lori and Chad were my introduction to the Book of Mormon. I realize that it's not just my problem. Yeah, but a we problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the thing, is it all leads back. All roads lead to Rome, right? Everything leads back to this same group of people. It all leads back to the same group of people. It doesn't matter whether it's now. I will say with the Mormonism though, because there are so many. Like I'm actually shocked you never got into studying it,
I don't know anything
because you
about it.
studied a lot of like about Freemasonry, and
Mhm.
it's very like they like mirror
Right.
Freemasonry.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know because I've never been in a temple. I would never be allowed in a temple. But that is also a sign of a negative polarity,
What's that?
like having special people, like an elite people, like
Mhm.
having a temple recommend, and
Right.
going and doing these rituals in the temple. That anytime there's a pecking order, which actually, Kresha, I was thinking about Lori and Chad, like how satanic that was to believe that there's like a pecking order, like some guy. I mean,
Mhm.
let's be honest. We can make fun of Chad all day. I mean, come on, Daybell, like
Mhm. I
dude was a
mean,
nerd, like
yeah.
and but the fact that he felt like he alone with Lori and his little sub cult of people, which actually people, and that's the thing, Kresha, too. I you can chime in on this. People always say like, oh, what Chad and Lori believed is like a sub belief of the Mormon church. No, it's not. It doesn't seem like it seems pretty much what Mormons believe, pretty much, but there's this like pecking order of feeling like we can label, they would like mark people as like dark
Mm.
or light.
Uh-huh.
They would and they believed, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kresha, they believe certain people, they had like a hit list. And certain people had been like taken over by zombies.
Hmm.
Um
Sounds like someone I know.
who?
Laura Knight.
Oh, Laura Knight. The Cassio. Well, there you go. Same thing, the Cassiopeian cult, right?
Yeah.
It's the same
Uh-huh.
thing.
Right.
Different wrapping paper,
The
same
Scientology.
Scientology,
Mhm.
same thing. Although
I
I
mean,
don't
there's a playbook there,
absolutely.
obviously, and that's if delving into conspiracies takes you to that point of understanding that there's a specific type of playbook, then you can more clearly see when that playbook is playing out
Mm-hmm.
in other areas, like the whole truther movement.
Yep, we've seen the same thing. The truther community. How many truthers sit on Telegram and mark people as good or bad?
Right. Believers or
Right.
non-believers, as though if there was really a plan that it would take us believing it or not.
Exactly. The truth is the truth, regardless.
Exactly. Right.
I hate that. Trust the plan. I hate that. Like, well, we talked about that. Like,
Mm.
is asking for proof positive? Yeah, you need proof. I mean, there's faith. People can have faith, but
Mhm.
when you need proof, you need proof. And to tell someone just to trust the plan, that's like dehumanizing. That's
Mhm.
I want to
Right.
know. I'm a constitutionalist, and I believe that we are America. The people are the Americans. We're in charge.
And
I want
believing,
to
yeah, and
know.
believing lie at the end of the day, believing lies as though they were truth is soul smashing. So at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you know, you're 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 agreeing to have your soul smashed when you wholeheartedly believe in lies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whether it makes you complacent or not, or whatever, at the end of the day, the most damage is going to be done through you wholeheartedly holding on to lies.
Yeah.
Because that's giving your consent to be manipulated. That's giving your consent to be led down a path of darkness. And so that's another reason why not to grasp onto any belief too strongly. Because if it's a truth, it'll stick around without you holding on to it.
The truth is belligerent.
Well, that too.
The truth is, and I had somebody say, going through all of Surrogate, I got a comment that this was very disheartening, this stuff. And yeah, it is. But here's the thing, like, the truth is the truth. And I feel like part of the controlled opposition is to get us into a place where we are in kind of, I mean, it's good to have hope. I have hope. I think we can totally do this. We can totally turn this ship around. If humanity gets its act together, we can totally do it. There's more of us than there are of them. But we can't do that unless we actually have all the cards on the table, right? And when I say all the cards on the table, as Todd's saying, know the playbook, like know what the end goal is. We know what their end goal is. And we know what that looks like, that manipulation looks like. And I feel like if people are stuck in this mindset of it's disheartening. But Marnie Alton said this once, and I loved it. I use it a lot. The fire can either burn you or it can fuel you. So like knowing where you are, where we stand, you can either go into a depression or you can go, okay, this is where we stand and this is how we fix this. The truth isn't going to change. Regardless of whether you feel like it's disheartening or not, it's still the truth. And so we have to have all the cards on the table to be able to go, okay, this is what they're going to do. We have all the documents. They've got some funky technology. Don't believe, if Jesus comes to a sky near you, don't believe it. Don't believe it.
Or if extraterrestrials come down there, don't go with them.
Don't go with them. That's a little weird. God's inside of you. Like that's something. God is not outside of you, as even Jesus says that in the Bible. He's inside. It's heaven and hell are inside of you. My favorite Didymus, the Gospel of Thomas, one of the missing books. It's like the Yoga Sutras. It's just things that he said. My favorite quote, they asked him, teacher, where is heaven? And he says, well, if heaven is in the sky, the birds will get there first. If heaven is in the water, the fish will get there first. Nay, my brothers, heaven is inside of you. Right. So you don't need something else. And that's one thing problem I have with the Mormon church. It's a problem I have with like the Pope. In what world? Well, obviously in our world, this is why the aliens would never come, because we're ghetto. We're ghetto like that. But in our, in what world does a mortal man, just a man like us, or woman like us, have the right to dictate what God thinks about somebody else's soul? Like that is baffling to me, that there is that people will actually accept that. Like God is in everyone. God is not just something for the elite. Well, they have their own God, which is not our God. But yeah. So the scary thing about it is that not only Chad, but I need my glasses. Both of us, both Todd and I are like this. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, her mom was on the list.
What list?
The list that Lori and Chad had.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Her mom, your mom, correct me if I'm wrong. No, it's Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde just started. So if you're getting jumbled, that's totally fine. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Kresha, your mom is part of the reason why this story blew up the way it did. And I don't blame her. Like, listen, if my nieces and nephews we live right across the street from CNN. I'm not a fan of CNN, but if my nieces and nephews went missing, I would be banging on CNN's door. I would be trying to get a hold of any person I can to find those kids. And I'm sorry, I do believe that Lauren seeped into y'all's life to manipulate, and I don't blame your mom for that at all, because she was, when your grandson is missing like that and he's so young, and it's was Rhonda. Oh my God, her mom's okay. Kresha, there was the school I went to. Did I ever take you to Rhonda's?
Nope.
It's outside of Darlington. We used to go to Rhonda's to buy naughty things. So whenever I see it, Rhonda, yeah, they even had zombie names.
Huh.
I wonder what mine would be. I'm sure I would have had one too. So I can't. I mean, it's wild, isn't it? All this stuff. It's almost unbelievable. What was the Mark Twain quote? The truth is stranger than fiction. Truth is stranger than fiction. And yeah, I'm just
Mhm.
so sorry, Kresha, and I'm absolutely gonna be reaching out to you because I cannot, like, I don't know, if something happened to my nephews or nieces, I'm so sorry, like, I don't ha that is such a hard thing to go through, and I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry the whole Lauren thing too, and I feel guilty, Kresha, because when I was following the case, I tried to bring the case to another channel that I collabed with because they had more whistleblowers. Because I was like, something when the case made the headlines, when the kids were missing
Uh-huh.
and they were found, I yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think she's a handler, absolutely, Kresha. I wholeheartedly believe Lauren was controlled opposition. I've been thinking back, and oh my God, it's so telling. She was a handler. I absolutely believe that as well. At this point too, and that's such a shame. And I've been really disappointed in Dr. John. Um, oh, really? Oh, did you? Okay, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna reach out to you because I really wanted to. I kind of got derailed because I have all this research, but you know more because this was your family. But I was like, I don't know where to apply this research, and something didn't feel right about the way. I mean, obviously, it's not right if two kids go missing. It's not right ever, ever. But something just felt weird. Like it didn't feel like a typical like everything. Every time a kid goes missing, it's a tragedy. But it felt like there was something more to it. It's more to like just Chad's list. It felt like there was something more to it. Like, why was the LDS church so quiet? Like, why it felt super weird. And there's more to this story. I just kept thinking there's so much more to this story. And the victims, JJ, Tylee, Tammy, your Uncle Charles, you guys, the people still here who are also victims deserve uh so I oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God, the Idaho trials. Yeah, for yeah. I tried to keep up with. See, I don't even think I could go and. I have so much respect for you guys because I don't even think I could ever go and sit. And we've talked about that. Todd and I have talked about that, like traveling to some of these trials and actually watching them. But I don't know if I could. I don't know if I would. I don't know. Hey Jojo, I don't even know if I could like I don't know. And your family, like, I don't even know how you guys did it. Like, I really don't. I have so much respect for you guys. Like, I don't know how y'all did it, but I do. And you know what was interesting with Laura? I watched her Mormon Stories podcast, and I like more. I like Mormon stories. I know people have questioned. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I don't know how you did it. I don't blame you, Kresha, because I just Um, I know that Dr. John Dehlin is questionable to some people. I know he has someone that said that he doesn't believe in SRA, which to me is kind of gaslighting because there's so many victims coming forward. But nonetheless, I watched part of her. Not that I kind of skimmed through some parts of Lauren's life story, and I noticed at the end when she was talking about her spiritual beliefs, and I was very confused by what she said, and I was like, "Is she trying to placate people like a handler would?" Because she's still LDS, but it was like she didn't know if she believed in God or not, but she's still LDS, and I was a little bit baffled by that, like and I've heard her say on other shows, "Well, I'm a Christian," and listen, that's a whole other debate, I know some people think that, um, uh we can get into that in a different. Please, can you explain in my way why she was handler? I have all the Doomsday Mom and details Laura was following. Um, that would be a better question for Kresha. And I would love to do a show with you, Kresha, over that too, because I know you know the woman. I don't. This is just me from an outsider looking in. But I know there's a huge debate between like Mormons and like mainstream Christianity. Like I grew up Presbyterian. If you're Presbyterian, Methodist, Episcopalian, Lutheran, Catholic, that's more mainstream. I mean, even though the Catholics and the Protestants have had their issues in the past, but that's more like normal Christianity, right? Um, yep. Okay, she said Lauren plays both sides just like her leaders. Let me grab my glasses. I believe everyone has the potential to be compromised. Yes, I question, yeah, Delenn's motives, but I watched more. Yep, yep. I don't, yeah. Listen, if you are in the position where you can say you don't believe in SRA, then you obviously are coming from a very innocent side of the world because it's hard to believe that this stuff happens. And you said something, Kresha, on one of your shows that I've said a lot too, because I get a lot of pushback. Um, And I get a lot of pushback when it from normies when I talk about the satanic stuff. And they're like, "Oh, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in all that Lucifer stuff." And I keep saying, and you said the same thing. And I was like, it's so obvious. I'm like, it doesn't matter if you believe it. They do. They do believe it. And they're going to do this stuff. They're going to do these blood rituals because they believe it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you don't believe it. You're not going to hurt somebody like that. They believe it. And that's the important thing. And I'm all about freedom of religion. Like you can believe whatever you want to believe, but don't hurt somebody else in the process. Don't take somebody's life in the process. That's when it becomes a felony, right? And so I just think that I know that the Mormon church, like all the other churches, really are part of the satanic system. And I think they kind of work together to make these crimes seem like there's some weird fringe group doing them to kind of keep their hands clean so that nobody sees what's real. Like, look over here, don't look over there, if that makes sense. Um, and God, just what a messed up world we live in, right? Like I mean, listen, Joseph Smith is super interesting to me as a historical character to study. Wouldn't want to be in his presence though. I think he was a philandering narcissist, malignant narcissist. You'd have to be to form a cult, right? I feel the same way about the Borgias. They're super interesting to study. Wouldn't want to live in their time period. Wouldn't want to be around them, but they're really interesting to study. And so I had tried, back to what I was saying, I had tried to kind of go deeper into the Vallow Daybell case with people that I felt like maybe could see things I couldn't. And it just fell apart. And so I kind of left it because I didn't think they were understanding what I was trying to ask. Like, we need to look at this. I really feel like and then I thought, well, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe this is just a fringe group. And I'm looking too hard into this. But now, since you came out, Kresha, since this whole hidden true crime thing happened and I found your channel, now I'm like, no, I think there's something obviously from Kresha's research, like, absolutely there's more to this and it needs to be exposed. Not just to be exposed so that, yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. I love that. So Kresha says 100% another rebuttal. It must be nice to have the luxury to have that stance on SRA. Public perception has been so jacked. Yep. Yep. We're still, yep, exactly. It must be nice to be able to say that, oh yeah, no, absolutely. SRA is some of the most horrific, some of the stories that I've heard from whistleblowers, and to grow up and know that's like your religion, to like know that like that's what your parent, you grew up in this. I mean, I had somebody tell me too, because we know I got big into bloodlines and blood types. That's how my channel first got big. And I know that O negatives, my blood type is considered like the elite blood. And so if I had been raised, I don't believe that, guys, just I don't believe any bloodline's elite. I think we're all equal. But knowing that if I had been raised in this Illuminati type religion, I would have had to watch this happen. I would have had stuff done to me too, but but my life would have been spared because of my bloodline. But I would have had to watch things happen and I would have had to learn how to do things. That in itself is even abuse to do to a child, and so it's horrific. It's go home and thank your parents as much as you have a problem with we all have problems with our parents, but thank them for not, for not being raised in this way. Yeah, God is it. And humans don't have that right. I even struggle. Like, I will say, I've always struggled, and I've made no qualms about it on my channel. I've already, yeah, all the info. Yeah, unload. And girl, Kresha, I'm sure you have just files and files and files information. And my heart goes out to you. I am so sorry people didn't believe you for such a long time. And I hope to God that not only are JJ, Tylee, Tammy, and Charles being vindicated, we think they got justice through the court system. And yes, to an extent they did, but not really, because we don't have the whole story. And so I'm hoping, Kresha, that by your research, their lives, they'll be vindicated as well. Truly justice will be served through through your research as to what really happened to them. And to your family as well. Y'all are victims as well. Yeah. So what's a handler? So that's an interesting question. rain, sunshine. So a handler is, how do I describe handler? Handles. They come in and they kind of manage you, right? So they're like managers of people. Um and so like um a lot of Hollywood people, so yeah. Yeah, they keep an eye on you, they control it, people send into situation call, yeah, like a lot of, actors, you'll see like a person kind of lurking behind them in pictures, and that person's still there, and they believe that person is kind of handling them. So it's almost like an assistant, but not, because they're actually the ones kind of in charge. The handler is kind of in charge of the person. And so like I'll say allegedly for the sake of my channel, like, allegedly for the sake of us, we'll say a Lauren came in and got really close with Kresha's family because she was trying to manage the information, right, that was coming out, allegedly, speculating. And so, yeah, it's a psychological manipulator on the system's belief. That's brilliant. Absolutely, that's brilliant. And so there are a lot of, I know a lot of like truthers get handled. I almost got handled by someone. That's a story for a different day, and that's made my life living hell since I figured it out and walked away. But a lot of truthers are being handled. People come in and they love bomb that person, and they kind of own that person, and they kind of control what that person says and does. A lot of presidents have handlers. A lot of politicians have handlers. Yeah, keep people. The handlers are the ones in charge. It's not the person, the face you're seeing, it's the handler is in charge. So, they're like agents of they're the systems agents, basically. And it's there's usually sometimes there's a payout for them, like sometimes they get paid out for it. And sometimes that's part of their bloodline. That's part of their like lineage and their family. It's weird. It gets really weird. Um, you never quite know like what's actually going on. And so they're puppet masters 100%. Yeah, it's sad that I mean, I can't even, I've laughed about this before. I don't understand the system because I can't even control my dog on a leash. Like I have no business trying to control anybody else. But yeah, it's and I'm glad that this matrix, this facade is being exposed. I have questions about the Idaho 4 as well. Speaking of Idaho, I have a lot of questions about that case. There's a lot to that case. There's this guy on TikTok, I can't remember his name, but he like goes down and breaks down like the esoteric meaning behind like the victims and like what was actually happened. And I'm just like, this is wild. It seems like Brian Koberger is another David Berkowitz, right? That he's just like a Manchurian candidate, and it's not, there's more to this. I have questions about Delphi. I have a lot of questions about that as well. Like, that's weird to me. And how is it that all of a sudden, like, especially with Delphi, like one time we were driving up from Florida and we were listening to this like podcast of this person going into like the Nordic stuff with Delphi. Um, and it was very compelling. And it's like every time this stuff comes out, all of a sudden you've got these bigger channels coming in and like calling these other people names because they've done some research and they have questions. And all of a sudden what about Charlie? Oh, that's a big Pandora's box to open with old Charlie. I'm very suspicious of his wife. We'll say that. Very suspicious. Um, I personally think potentially the I country might be involved. Netanyahu, I have some beliefs around that. Yeah, 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 absolutely, Lisa. Delphi, like I haven't even had the brain power to really sit and like go through everything with Delphi because because it's so much. It's so much. And I just that and the Idaho 4, I just can't the thing with the Idaho 4 too, some of it's like common sense. We've all been young. I lived in which the script yeah, lawsuit, so it's similar. Yep. Yep. Well, the Tim Ballard thing too. I would love for you, Kresha, to talk about like Angel Studios and the Tim Ballard thing because a lot of truthers around that time when The Sound of Freedom came out, it's like their blinders went on and all they saw was what they wanted to see. And I kind of had a weird feeling in my stomach about Tim Ballard, and all of a sudden all these allegations started coming out, and You know, that's happened to other people in the past, like people trying to do the right thing where allegations will come out. And it's like my gut didn't go off with other people, but with Tim Ballard it did. Just something didn't feel right. Um, you know? And so I've loved your research into that and all the connections. At this point, if somebody is allowed, like, you know, I've said this before with Hidden True Crime with that channel too. And this is just a very minor example. I opened my channel around the same time that they did. And how come their channel grew so large and mine got shadow banned? When literally most of what I do is researching history to look for patterns. You would think my channel would be the safest. That was always weird to me. Like, how did that happen? And we're seeing that, like, that to me is a big clue. Like, I heard you say, Kresha, that you're in poverty. Yes, same girl. Like, the people that I feel like are trying their best to do the right thing get severely punished by the system. Sergey Monas talks about that actually here. They will do everything to get you to shut up. Unfortunately for them, I'm stubborn. So it's going to take a whole lot more to get me to shut up. But they'll do that kind of stuff. Like what's happened to you, Kresha. They'll try to like push you in a corner. They'll try to like, you know, shut you up, make you, you know, what Lauren, I don't know the whole extent of what Lauren did, but you know, I feel bad because I didn't know who you were. And I feel so bad about that because I was like, I want to go and help this girl. I want this girl. I want to help her because she's spot on and she's her research is phenomenal. So, yes, I did do the Jesus strand. And that's a thing too. And we talk about, I know I'm jumping all over reading y'all's comments, guys. With research. Well, so I've done now 2 documentaries. One was the Jesus strand, and then I just filmed last on Halloween, actually. Yeah, I believe Doug was taken out as well. I talked about Doug a lot in I just filmed for a documentary on Halloween. And the thing about documentaries, you guys, is that especially with a big topic like these topics like Jesus and like the son of Sam, is that there's a ton of people that are being interviewed and I don't know what other people are saying. I'm just giving my research, right? I'm just giving my research. I don't know what anybody else is going to say. And a lot of times they, especially with like son of Sam or Jesus strand, they'll get both sides of the narrative, which is fine. It's a documentary. It's, you know, they need both sides. But something really happened weird. Like after the Jesus drama, all of a sudden people are making me responsible for everybody else's research. And I was like, I don't know what anybody else is saying in their parts. I was just doing the missing books of the Bible. And so yeah, yeah, absolutely, Kresha, for social scoring. Participate all the right things and you go, yep, exactly. That is me too, Kresha. I live in the gutters too. When I first opened up my channel before I got shadow banned, I would get between like 40, 60,000 views. Now I'm lucky if I get 500 because I have been sent to the corner because I don't say what they want me to say. And you're right. That is absolutely conditioning for social scoring. Participate and say, this is a great Todd Kresha just had a great comment about the social system. I never even thought about it that way. She says they are conditioning us for social scoring. Participate and say all the right things and you can participate in the algorithm. Don't conform and you have me and you. I live in the gutters. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's if we just did the right things, that's why I still have to be careful about what words I say because I am on thin ice with YouTube. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. You know, bless, as we say down here in the South, you're a Southern girl too, Kresha. Bless Lauren's heart. Bless her heart. She exposed herself. That I don't know how she sat on a live for I'm at an hour 8 minutes at this point. 9 hours? How does somebody sit on a live for 9 hours? And I was actually stalked. Like I was listening to I watched a lot of that and I was waiting for like the smoking gun. I was literally stalked. Like I had one day like over 1,000 voice messages from my stalker, like those little voice messages, like telling me how she was gonna like unalive me. I had 2 states. And I never ran to a hotel for my safety, right? Like I don't understand. Like that was wild. And I feel is it Christina? Is that her name? I feel sorry for her, but honestly, I think yeah, at least stalkers give you content. Yeah, I don't even think gamers sit on a live that long. Like, wouldn't your butt be on fire? Like, my butt would be burning. I have a pillow I'm sitting on right now, but after I'm done filming, I need to stretch my legs. And when do you go to the bathroom? When do you eat? Like, I'm just like, this is wild. 9 hours. That's longer than most people's workday. Crazy, crazy. If she had just kept her mouth shut, we wouldn't be sitting here right now, which I'm glad she didn't keep her mouth shut. And what do you so Kresha, what's your perspective on John, on Dr. Babe? Um, yeah, yep, yeah, exactly. Unaliving, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I was actually going through with Todd, like, the words that he can't say. Like, what do you guys saw that episode we were going through in the NAZI, and I was like, you can't Yahtzee, like, you can't say, like, it's wild, the words. It's like playing Monopoly with a 4-year-old, and the games are constantly the rules are constantly changing. And so it's wild, but that's censorship for you. Thank you to RUMBLE and to Substack for allowing us to have an alternative place to place our work. Yeah, well, before all this happened, like, we take these long trips, and so we would listen. Like, both Todd and I love psychology, and so we would listen to him in some of the older videos with different cases where he would talk about but I think I mentioned this in another video. The first time I ever experienced something, yeah, the Brad Pitt thing was weird. That was actually weird. That was really weird. I wonder how Brad Pitt feels about that. Like I wonder if Brad Pitt's like, dude, like, that's weird. Um, but there was one episode he did about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and I'm so grateful. I know Becca Scoops, all these great fancy, like, there's great channels that are really trying to expose, which that's weird too. I think that's definitely a ritualistic. I think there's some, like, underbelly going on there as well. Um, she needs an endorsement from yes. She's an adult diaper elder. Yep. I'm telling you, like, 9 hours sitting and the fake crying. Like, when I first turned it on and she was like crying, and I was like, girl, your makeup's not moving. Like, you're not really like that. This is so fake. Like, this is so fake. And now people have taken the sound bit, long crime, the way she says long. And I remember when she said that, I was thinking, but isn't that your job to go into courtrooms and to film people going through there, like Kresha's family? Like, isn't she a reporter? Isn't that what she does? But yet people can't report on her.
Half the time when I hear that recording,
yeah,
people replay it, I think it's a parody.
Oh, Todd said he's with Robbie right now. He said every time he hears people were replaying the clips from that 9-hour live, he thinks it's a parody. He doesn't realize it's the same thing. It's the real thing. I mean, I just it's so weird. Yes, crime is, yes, exactly, Kresha. It is. I have been trying desperately to get the Gypsy Rose camp, because these people, guys, like Becca Scoops, Fancy Maselli, like, all of these people, their main subject is Gypsy Rose. And some of these channels that their main subject is one thing, that's where it gets interesting, because that's all they focus on. Where I cover so many different things, so I always try to, like, okay. You guys might hear Ravi, my dog, singing. He sings for his food, so if you hear a weird noise, it's not a demon. Todd's just fixing his dinner for him. Yeah, through Toddy One Skip. Well, I'm sorry if my glasses are huge on my face. It's how I read, Pamela. That's how I can actually see the chat, because I'm 42. So my eyesight in the light is a little. Oh, thank you, So Todd's channel, The Confused Wonder, is Midwest Night Watchers. If anything ever happens to me, I'll be there. Please, he's exposing the Cassiopean cult right now. But yeah, Gypsy Rose. I've been trying desperately to get people to compare the Gypsy Rose case to the Son of Sam case. And I know people think that I'm crazy for comparing the two, but I've been deep in the Son of Sam stuff, and that was the Process Church. And there are a lot of similarities, I feel like, to what's going on, especially with the public and the prosecutor, and there's just a lot of similarities. And so I keep wanting these deep Gypsy Rose channels to actually look at this and compare it, to get even deeper into this. Like, there is a deeper level to this that I agree with you, Kresha. It's ritualistic. Pamela, no, these are my glasses, darling. I'm so sorry you're bothered by my glasses, Pamela. What a bad day for you to have to be bothered by my glasses. Wow. It's Hidden True Crime Hoax is the best title I can think of right now. Yeah, it's a well, and you brought a good point up. I think it was you, Kresha, that said, "What does a cult mean? Hidden." If that's what a cult means. It's just hidden. Hidden true crime. What are they hiding? And so that's and I have my feelings. Yeah, I think Pamela has some issues too. Listen, if my with what we're talking about, the heaviness of what we're talking about, Pamela, and you're bothered by my glasses and not the actual subject matter, then that's a you problem, honey, not a me problem. Um, but Dr. John, I have some thoughts around Dr. John as some speculation. I think the Delphi case is so angering to me. It's like where yeah, exactly. I've kind Lisa with Doug's passing, I have put my beliefs out there. I was the last person to speak to him, and when he went missing, people were calling me like crazy because I was the last person to do a show with him and speak with him, and I'm on the other side of the country, and there was not a whole lot I could do. Um, I could do to I mean, I'm in Atlanta, he's in LA. I have tried, I've spoken to some other people off air who are close to him who also agree with me. I definitely think I can guess who's behind it. I'm not going to say because I don't have any proof, but I have some suspicions. I think there's definitely some handlers in the ex Scientology community. My suspicions, and I think that Doug. The thing about Doug, kind of like Kresha, right? There's some similarities there where, Doug. One thing I loved about him, and that's why I contacted him and we started collabing together, is he was an ex-Scientologist. He went through his own breakdown of deprogramming out of Scientology. He went through that whole thing. And then once he was like grounded and had his wits about him and had deprogrammed, he 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 then was like, well, how does an L. Ron Hubbard happen? How does this even happen? And so we started researching L. Ron Hubbard's past, and that connected him to the three-letter agency, Son of Sam, Charles Manson, the Process Church of Final Judgment. And then he started to realize what was playing out in our world today. And so he started looking at the rituals. And so he kind of went above the whole Scientology bubble, or ex-Scientology bubble. And so I brought him on my channel and we told his story. And then I really wanted him to bring his research to my channel to talk to you guys about everything that he found connected to not just L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons and all that mess, but the Process Church. I believe, they say the Process Church is defunct. It's not. It's absolutely not. It might have a different name. My best friend's Animal Society. Isn't that interesting? That the Process Church now owns a animal rescue center when they are accused of using dogs as bait, we'll say, for their, they would ritually use dogs, and now they're running a dog rescue center. That's weird, right? Am I alone in saying that's weird? Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. My glasses. Yeah, I love Doug. Doug was like we bonded really quickly. Disgusting. He seemed to be trying to hold it together for the sake of the mighty dollar. I know, like 2.3 million annually. I know, you guys. So another channel, and Kresha said for Dr. John, he exposed himself to me all the way through when I watched their 4-hour follow-up video, and that they also scheduled. Oh, yep. I have my speculation too, and this might sound mean. I'm not trying to sound mean. I'm really not, but it's human nature. John obviously struggles with his weight. I think he feels like Lauren was a catch for him. So I think she being married to her, maybe like it taps into some of his insecurities. And so he has like blind spot. I don't know. I see a lot of weakness there. Yeah, Jojo, they make a crap ton of money. Like a crap. They have their memberships, they have their which is no, I don't fault people for making money. But the way that they were running their brand, I mean, it was intense. Yeah, they were making well over, I at some part, but I broke it down. It's crazy how much money they were making. Um, yeah, well, and also, I mean, I'm not, if you want to have plastic surgery, that's your prerogative. You do you, boo. But I started to notice that she was getting an awful lot of Botox, it seems like. Like she was really, yeah. Yes, yeah, absolutely, girl. This is why I want to get you on my channel. It's so much bigger. All roads lead back to the same group. A honeypot. She could have been like, I think Erica Kirk was a honeypot, if I'm being honest with you. I think, yeah, you know, it's all leading back to the same group. This way to, as we started off talking about the controlled opposition in the whole world, like everything that's happening all over the world. There's so much controlled opposition everywhere to try to manipulate. And it's that human pride, right? We all want to be right. We none of us want to be wrong. And so my one of my favorite memes somebody posted is face was not slant. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Um, prove they were safe with the system. Yeah, it, it's just sad. I mean, it's how many people just get like lulled back to sleep by these. I mean, this group of maniacal people, whatever you want to call them, the establishment, the system, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to call them, this group of people, as I've said since the beginning, they're many things, but stupid is not one of them. And they're patient, and they will work and weave their magic, and they will continue to, you know, yeah, people who don't like my glasses can be on a different. Yeah, yeah. I don't. I'm at that age. I taught this morning. I'm sweaty, and I'm coming on live. This is more important, the subject for us to talk about, because like Sergey Monas, as Todd was saying at the beginning, the more we talk about, the more we normalize these hard conversations, then they can't win. Had you looking for your glasses for hours? It's the light too. I have astigmatism or astigmatism. It's an Rh negative thing. It's the light. I have a hard time seeing on the light on the screen when I have a light in my face. So and I don't want to turn it off because y'all won't be able to see. So oh, thank you. You like my glasses. Thank you. um, yeah, we're here. Usually we're gossiping about, historical people. um, but then sometimes we talk about stuff that's happening now because it's all the same thing. It's all the same group. Back in the day, back in like the Tudor dynasty, like this m- group of controllers could be way more open about their tyrannical behavior because people accepted it. But now they have to kind of go into the underbelly and control us through manipulation, right? Same for me. That's a good way to put it. I mean, you start, yeah, yeah, yep. They say ignorance is bliss, but knowledge is power, knowledge protects. And instead of worrying about med beds and Nasara, I think we need to be looking at the system and what they're doing. And the more and more and more, I mean, even it gets kind of dark in this, guys. It's going to be released on Tuesday and Wednesday. He talks about the detention centers and the people that are going to be Midwest Night Watchers, they were so popular. Well, you can kind of see the light in my, like when I read sometimes in a recording, a pre-recorded, um I notice you can see the light, but I can't, otherwise I can't see. Um that's right, Jojo. I never cared one bit what Bryce has on or looks like. Some people just want to distract us with their BS. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So the glasses, that's just how I see. That's how I see. That's how I can read your comments. So I know I have to hop off soon because we do have to take the dog out and stuff and get ready. We get up super early in the morning because of Todd's you are Kresha. Are you okay? Do you know what JJ's, and we don't have to say it on air, but I would be curious to know JJ and Tylee's blood type too, if you know that. They take this, I mean, they take blood types so effing serious. I mean, they really, and every blood type in my research, every blood type has a different personality trait to it. None are better or worse. Uh none are better or worse than the other one, but they have different personality, like A, B, they have different kind of like A personality, B personality. So it kind of tells you about your karma, whatever blood type you have. But RH negatives are definitely okay, yeah, I would love to talk to you about that because as you guys know, I've gone through all of the I'm O negative, and the O negatives, they really, like I said earlier, they love some O negatives. They have no, we have nothing in our blood, and so they thought as not me, they saw it as pure blood. They believed like it was descendant of the Anunnaki. Like it gets crazy, like it gets even crazier. I mean, literally, the more you research what they believe, as Kresha can probably tell you, the more batshit crazy you're like, I am so normal and so boring compared to this system of what they believe. And that's why there's certain side effects to RH negative. So back in the day, when JG, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, ask your mom because, and you don't have to put it. You don't have to publicly announce it. I would just be curious to know. I keep asking with the Son of Sam victims because the Son of Sam victims, they were allegedly random. But I keep asking for their blood types. I'm like, do we know what their blood types were? I want to know what their blood, because they have specific things they're looking for when they make their sacrifices. Now they go with children a lot, and especially someone like JJ, like he's so young. Most 7-year-olds are super innocent anyway, they're children, but especially autistic 7-year-olds seem to be very, and they're smart, but they seem to be very pure and very loving. Now for them, and this goes into the law of one too. So the polarity of light and darkness, light is the only thing that can create, the darkness can't. And so what they do when they do these rituals is that they are um giving life force to the darkness because the darkness can't create it for itself. And so they use children, they use animals because they're the purest. Um, I know they are wacky AF, and I question my own sanity because of how much I know they're so weird, aren't they, Kresha? They're so effing weird, these people. I'm actually, you guys, on Thursday, I've got to do that tomorrow. I'm going to be researching all day tomorrow. Catherine Edwards and I are going to be doing a show on the Sabbateans. I don't know if that show is going to be able to stay on YouTube or not. I'm just going to have to see how far we go with it. But that's a whole other angle of this group is the Sabbateans. Um, it's wild, and that gets a little bit into Charlie Kirk as well. I'm not saying that he was a Sabbatean, but it gets into the yes, opening up the doors to heaven. Sorry, I know this is weird for our replay crew because I'm responding to the chat, but the Sabbateans, they are part of the support of, I'm trying to be careful with my words, the I country, but again, not the people, not the people. We're talking about like the elites. It's exactly Midwest Night Watchers because I want to be able to speak openly. And the Sabbateans, I have like tiptoed around them with my research. I've never gone fully in. But it needs to be covered at this point, especially going through all of Sergei Monast's stuff. It definitely needs to be covered. The Sabbatean stuff. Yep, a spiritual power, as Ted Ballard explained, it opens the door to heaven. Yeah, because they can't. It's the spiritual power, right? Because they can't. The darkness can't create anything. All it can do is steal from the light and invert it. And so they try to use the purest among us. So again, that's children and that's animals, the purest. And that's the good thing about those of us that are older. We're not pure for them anymore. Yeah, yeah, Kresha, I can fill you in with I can actually send you I have some PDFs of some books about RH negatives. It helps answer questions. RH negatives are also highly intuitive and highly, like, a lot of RH negatives are have like psychic abilities. Not saying that positives don't, but it's just very common with RH negatives to have like psychic abilities, which is why the powers that be they love RH negatives because they can use them to like remote view. We also have, and part of the reason why I have to wear glasses with the light, RH negatives typically, so like in our eyes, like we have the pupils that are round that look like everybody else's, but in the back of the eyeball, in the back of the skull, for RH positive, it's a circle. For RH negative, it's a diamond. And so we take in light differently. So that's why, okay. That's why RH negatives have way more paranormal experiences, because they can actually see it. It doesn't mean that RH positives don't have phenomenon around them, but RH negatives can actually see it because of their eyes. They can actually take in the light differently. Yeah, the Franco Sabatians, we're definitely going to be covering that as well, Joey. Yes, crazy how us negatives, we're weirdos, negatives. So, Kresha, you telling me that you are an RH negative does not surprise me because when I found out I was 7 months along with my first, and I asked my mom about it, she looked at me seriously and said, "Your dad is your dad." I died laughing. That's so funny. Yeah, two RH positives can have an RH negative baby because the negative is recessive. So if they carry the recessive trait, but two RH negatives can only have an RH negative baby because it is recessive. Yeah, like Todd is A negative. My boyfriend is A negative. I'm O negative. So your granddad is your dad. The funniest thing, I not funny, bless this person's heart. There was a girl I went online where she was learning about in college, like doing DNA stuff and blood stuff, and she did her blood type, and her blood type did not match both of her parents. So like Todd is A negative, I'm O negative. So if we had a child, that child would either be A negative or O negative. It wouldn't be B or AB. It would just either be one of ours. And the professor kept saying, no, if this is your blood type, one of your parents has to be this blood type. Like you have to have gotten this from somewhere. Well, she went home and it turns out her mom had an affair. that is how she found out her mom had an affair. Oh, that's weird, Kresha. So your fiance is O negative. Yeah, that's Todd and me. Yeah. Two positive parents can have my boyfriend's parents are both positives. And he came out negative. It's because they carry the recessive trait. My mom is negative, my dad is positive, and my sister and I are both negative. My sister's B negative. My mom's B negative, my dad's O positive, I'm O negative, and she's B negative. There's all sorts of different things that anomalies that happened with RH negatives, extra organs. I have an extra urinary tube. Yeah, it would be go back and look at your grandparents, Kresha. In both sides, you probably had a grandparent on both sides, at least one that was RH negative. And that's probably where it came from. Also like like Todd has like the hammer thumb. I don't. That's like the one thing I don't have, and that's an RH negative thing. And so like royalty back in the day, royalty only wants their people, like all of our presidents, so this is where it gets really conspiratorial and wackadoo, guys. So all of our presidents in the United States have all been RH negative, all of them. All monarchy is RH negative. It's only 15% of the world's population. So if that gives you a little bit of an indication on how weird they are about blood type. So if they're weird about their own blood types, when they're looking for their victims, for their rituals, they're also looking at their blood types too. They're not going to it's not like, Jack the Ripper, where they're picking people that, street workers or something that they're actually looking for kids who have a lineage, who have like a particular lineage. Yeah, no, you're great. You're awesome. Kresha, you have your people here. We all believe you, girl. Like we believe you. Trust me. You're all good. I'm definitely going to be sending you an email, Kresha, for my private accounts. After we get off, I'll send you an email tonight, and I'll send you my number. And so that's why I'm really curious to see like what some of these, that's why I want to know what the Son of Sam victims are. I want to know this because I think that will add more pieces of, and again, I want to clarify to the chat, like what I talk about, what they believe, that's not what I believe. There are anomalies with each blood type. There are anomalies. Every single blood type, A positive, A negative, B positive, there's something magical about each blood type. But and I think we all bring something to the table. Like, I think we're all equal as humans. We're all special. We're all special. We're all special little butterflies from God, and we all bring a piece of the puzzle together. But the elite, don't believe that. They believe that the RH negative, the 15% of the world's population somehow is special. Like they think Rh negatives are special because of these anomalies, and they actually do believe it comes from like Anunnaki. I don't know. I go back and forth. They believe that this is where, when we look at monarchy, like, you know how monarchy talks about divine bloodline, divine right of kings? This is where it comes from, is the Rh negative bloodline. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And so like King James of the King James Bible would say stuff like, he has quotes about kings are demigods. Basically, that's where demigods come from. They believe Rh negatives are demigods. And there are, when I was deep into Rh, so for me, when I started to study the Rh negatives, that actually was what answered a lot of questions about my own health history and stuff that had happened to me. So all of a sudden I had answers to my questions. But there are scientists that study blood that out there that will say literally that Rh negatives are a different species. They don't consider Rh negatives and Rh positives the same species. There's Robbie. Sorry, he's barking. I don't believe that. I think we're all human. But what they're talking about also comes down to pregnancy. So, like Kresha, you were saying, when you were pregnant, like my sister, out of all four of her kids, one is Rh negative. The rest are Rh positive. So my sister had to have help to keep the baby. She had to have those shots so her body would not. So an Rh negative woman, if she gets pregnant by an Rh positive man and the baby's Rh positive, it's a strain on the Rh. A lot of times the Rh negative woman will lose the baby. Okay. So it's hard. And my sister, Rh negative women typically don't do well with pregnancy. Like they struggle a lot. Like my sister, the easiest pregnancy she had was with my one niece who's Rh negative, because her body could adapt because the baby was also Rh negative. Now with my boyfriend and with your fiance, Kresha, like if I'm getting a little too old to get pregnant, but if I got pregnant because Todd is also Rh negative, I would not have to have the shots because we would only have an Rh negative baby. So my body would be able to support that. It would probably be an easier pregnancy. But that's why a lot of girls are told at a very young age if they're Rh negative because of pregnancy, because you might have to have help with pregnancy. And so yeah, I know it's hard for Rh negative women have a real hard time. Yeah, after the birth too as well. My sister had to have that too for the next child, to go ahead and help her body prepare for there was going to be a next child. Now listen, my sister married an Italian Catholic. None of her children were planned. So she finally got she finally just got her tubes tied, because she's married to an Italian Catholic and those babies just keep coming and none of them are planned. Yeah, it's crazy what and so scientists will classify Rh negatives as a different species. And so what the monarchy, which is basically AKA the establishment, the system, whatever, the cabal, is, they believe in their belief system, they think that they are basically demigods, that they are half human, half God. Yeah, it's wild because they are so different. And before they could test blood, they would look for the anomalies on someone to make sure they were of the bloodline, right? Like people who are Rh negative, like think about the royalty, they all kind of have reddish hair in Europe. That's very common. It's not all Rh negatives, but it's very common in Europe to have like I got highlights, but my natural hair color is like a dirty blonde, but I do have like a red undertone to it. Like Todd's redheaded. They have usually extra organs. I always think God was messing with me. Like he pulled a practical. I have some friends who are O negative that have like an extra kidney or an extra liver. Like that's handy. That's handy to come to Earth with like an extra kidney or an extra liver, especially as an O negative, because you can donate that to anybody. I have an extra urinary tube. Don't know what I'm going to do with that, but that's that. I have an extra vertebrae. There's just all my blood. My natural resting temperature is between 94, 96, around there. So we have a lower body temperature. There's just a lot of anomalies. And so they would look for that in the past. And that's why it became such a big deal about, like, back in the monarchy, all the kings would have like mistresses, but the queen was never allowed to have a lover, because she needed to make sure she was carrying the bloodline. So when she gave birth, that it was a bloodline baby, means to be. So when my mom asked what it means to be married, you just tell her what your Rh negative, that means that your Rh negatives, Kresha, I will say, on record, have really high IQs. So you can just be like, it just makes me smart. Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, y'all go and make sure you subscribe to Kresha. I've seen some people telling they're going to be subscribing. Make sure. I tagged Kresha's latest video in like my last live, her, and go support her, guys. Like, help Kresha spread, because we know those of us over here in the corner of YouTube, we know what they do to channels like Kresha and my channel. We know they hide our channels. So make sure you guys go over to Kresha's channel and make sure you like her videos, leave a comment. Even if you don't have anything you want to comment, like I always say, Kresha, just put your country flag or something in there, because that helps. So if you go and click Kresha's name on her handle, it'll take you to her channel, and you can just hit subscribe there. I'll once we're done, I'll put it all in the description box as well. What if I'm not the only one with yeah, what royalty am I talking about? All of them, all the European royalties, they're all related. I mean, we all think like the Plantagenets, the Tudors, the Stuarts, like they're all Plantagenets. They just changed names because like Elizabeth of York married Henry VII. Elizabeth of York was a Plantagenet. So Henry VIII was a Plantagenet. Even though his last name was Tudor through his mom line, he was a Plantagenet, right? Oh, thank you. What Midwest Night Watchers, he put Kresha's channel link in the chat, you guys. Make sure you also subscribe to Midwest Night Watchers, guys. They do you got a live today as well, don't you, Midwest Night Watchers? Yeah, this doesn't mean no, I feel brand new. Some people say that. Some people like to say that that's the Nephilim, but I am pushing back against that. I think that's what the elite wants you to think. I think that they want you to think that they're the Nephilim, but just my research with other stuff, I think the Nephilim are a totally different thing. That's a whole other thing. Yeah, Midwest Night Watchers, they got 6 p.m. Central, guys, 7 p.m. Eastern time. They do great shows. Kresha, if you're into like cryptids and Bigfoot, that's we live in such a weird place, don't we? I always think our souls must have been really bored to come to Earth, because we got on one side of this, we've got we've got this monarchy and this establishment doing some weird shit and believing some weird crazy alien stuff, and then we've got cryptids and Bigfoot and Dogman, and so we are all just trying to figure it out, right? If you didn't laugh, you would cry, because it is wild. But I always say that, we must be pretty special for them to do all of this to try to distract us from who we really are. And so that's, and yes, please, guys, go see Todd is really into Bigfoot as well, and I've told Todd, Midwest Night Watchers, you guys, we need to do a show with Todd, because he really wants to go out with our friend Jessica and go hunt Bigfoot. I'll stay in the hotel. He can go out with Jessica all night and hunt Bigfoot. I'm gonna go stay in the hotel though. But if you guys have not checked out Jessica's channel, and actually, Kresha, Jessica, I saw Jojo, you talked about asking Jessica to remote view Doug. That's a really good idea. I might actually do that. But Kresha, Jessica is a remote. Oh, yes, in difficult research, Kresha's got one about as well, live tonight as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed to both of them. So I usually have to watch the lives the next day, because we're usually in bed by then, because we get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning for work. But Kresha, we have a friend named Jessica Jones. She's the Cryptid Huntress here on YouTube. She's a friend of mine. She lives like an hour away from me. She is an incredible remote viewer, like incredible. I mean, she's done a few stuff here on my channel, and how she does it is she does not ever want to know Oh, you've watched her. Awesome. She know, like when I give her a target, she taught me how to give her a target. I'm sure she's done that with Midwest Night Watchers too, taught them how to give her a target. She wants to know nothing. Nothing. And then she gives you what she's got, and it's pretty incredible. So if there's ever anything you're stuck on, Kresha, you can always ask. We can always connect you with Jessica, and she can probably help. She helps solve. Correct me if I'm wrong, Midwest Night Watchers. She helped solve one of a missing persons case here in Georgia. Like she called it. Like she knew exactly where the body was, and it took a while, and they located the body exactly where she said it was going to be. Yeah, it's pretty wild. She's so funny. She cracks me up because she goes out and hunts Bigfoot with her lipstick on, and I just love that. Like I love that. I just love that she does that. Um yeah, there's Jessica's link right there. So I'm getting tongue tied. Mercury retrograde, right? So yeah, she did. She felt it was in Lake Lanier, wasn't it? Was am I thinking about this the right case where she was asked to remote view a missing persons case, and it was in Lake Lanier, which that's a totally crazy story here in Georgia, the Lake Lanier story. But it took them a while, but they eventually found that's where I might be mistaken, but I think he was in some body of water here in Georgia that they found him. So, and she's amazing. Jessica's amazing. She's so funny. She goes and speaks at all these conventions for cryptids, and so IA is recording our thoughts right now. That's it just is what it is. So literally if yep. Yep. It's yeah, it's the world is crazy, you guys. No, and I think people get so I saw this meme that I loved. This guy was like, I love watching Instagram because the Democrats post pictures of it's okay, difficult research. Kresha, it's fine. Yeah, I do that sometimes too when I'm typing in the chat, it accidentally restricts itself. The Democrats are showing pictures of Republican politicians with a human trafficker, and then the Republicans are showing pictures of Democrats with the same human trafficker, and they're thinking they're zinging each other. But it's like you haven't realized they're all what's that joke? It's all one big club, and we're not in it. And I think people get so tied up on being on the right side or the wrong side, or I'm the winning team and you're the losing team, that it's hard to sit back and just be like, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. Like it's all messed up. So anyway, well, you guys, I know it's been almost 2 hours now, and I thank you guys. I know Todd had to go and take our dog out. Ravi's shedding right now, so it's kind of crazy. He gets very itchy, and I feel bad for him because he's itchy when he sheds, and so Todd just took him out. So I know he had to sneak off. But guys, Todd is going to be dropping a new Cassiopean cult thing video on this week at some point. He's already filmed it. He's just editing it. So make sure you are subscribed to the Confused Wanderer. And he is actually trying to get in touch right now with Vincent Bridges' widow too. So we've got some stuff there. Tomorrow I've got on my channel just a preview for some new videos coming up for Fusion Body. But we also have, again, Tuesday and Wednesday, part 1 of this. I'm going to, again, hold it up. Part 1 is going to drop on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then part 2 will drop on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And of course, this, even if you look at the title, cannot be on the YT. So make sure that after I'm done with this, I'm going to edit it and I'm going to put it in the description box. I'm going to put a subscription to my Substack. If you subscribe to my Substack, you will get an email before every single video is dropped and every single live. And for the spicy videos, you will get, I'm going to upload them to Substack as well as RUMBLE. You will get it directly dropped into your email so that you can just listen to from your email. So that will come on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, I'm going to be filming with Catherine over the Sabbateans. And so it's going to be a very, very heavy November. Welcome to Esoteric Atlanta. And hopefully we'll have Kresha on soon. And we let's see. Oh, I'm also doing something to kind of, before we sign off, to kind of switch gears. I'm trying to do something kind of fun for us because it is a very heavy time. And I'm putting together I'm hoping with you guys, send me if you would like to, if you want to be a part of this. Every November, I talk about pineapple casserole because I love it. It's a very southern dish that we have for Thanksgiving. Yes, same name on Substack, Esoteric or Bryce Elizabeth. I'll put it in the description back. It's either under my name, Bryce Elizabeth Watson, or Esoteric Atlanta on Substack. I always talk about pineapple casserole. It's so unhealthy, but it's so good at Thanksgiving or Christmas. And I just decided, you guys, and I've already gotten some emails. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have the cutoff date be December 5th. I would love it. Since food is something that we all share, it's how we give love to people. If you would send me from wherever you are in the world, whether you're American, whether you're whatever part of America, other country, what are some of your favorite dishes for the holiday season, for the Christmas season? And if you want to share that recipe with our friends here, email me at Esoteric Atlanta your recipe. Put where you're from in the world, where this recipe comes from. And if you want to give an antidote, a story about the recipe, you can do that as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the recipes that are sent to me, including some of my own, and I'm going to put them together in a PDF for like a little cookbook. And I'm just going to put that PDF like on my Substack or on my community page for anybody to download that recipe book. It's not going to cost anything. It's just going to be a way for us to share with each other our culture over this holiday season. And so if you would like to send in any recipe, an entree, an hors d'oeuvre, I'm going to put in chess pie. I love my Southern chess pie. Anything you want from your culture, send it to me at esotericatlanta@gmail.com. Please put recipe in the subject line because I get a lot of emails. So I'll see it so I can mark it and put it to the side. And then once we get all the recipes in by the 5th, I will put it all together and we'll put up a little PDF recipe book for everyone to download who wants it. So you have recipes from all over the world. And so, all right, you guys. Yeah, I hope so. The best thing. Yeah, I can't wait. Yes. Well, Midwest Night Watchers, send me your recipe and we'll put it in there. Send it in there. Just send it in, guys. All of your recipes from all over we have such an eclectic community here of people from all over the world. And that'd be so cool to be able to share that, to be able to print it off and have recipes from people in this community I think we got some from Hungary, from England, from France, so you can share these recipes and we can share our culture with each other. All right. I'm so glad this has been healing for you, Kresha. I hope so. I hope you go to bed at night and know that people we believe you. We absolutely believe you. And we have people from all over the world that are now exposed to this case and believe you. And hopefully JJ and Tylee's and Tammy and Charles's memory will not be in vain, but hopefully their lives will, their deaths wouldn't have been done in vain. And hopefully they will help people wake up to what's really going on and justice will be served. Yes, absolutely, Jojo. We believe you and we care. We absolutely care. And we want to do right by the lives that were lost. And I started saying earlier, I'm not somebody, I have a very weird mixed feelings on the penalty, we'll say the ultimate penalty. I've always had very weird feelings about the penalty. But when it comes to Chad, I think the jury made the right decision. And I just, I can't, people who would do that is just, they're not human. That's crazy. So rest in peace, JJ, rest in peace, Tylee, rest in peace, Tammy, and rest in peace, Charles. And, yeah. Well, girl, we're gonna get your research out because it's important and we believe you. And you're doing right by your nephew. You're doing right by JJ by doing this. And so I'm sure that he's watching from the other. I'm gonna get emotional. It's such a heavy topic, right? I just don't know. This is why I could never be a mainstream media journalist. I would just start crying. I could never just be straight faced. So anyway, I'll get in touch with you, Kresha. I'd love for you to share your research here, and I'd love for you to share all of your stuff, anything else you want to share. So that's what we're here for. We are all just walking each other home. We're not Lauren or Dr. John. I'm in my bedroom, right? We're just human beings and we're all just walking each other home and trying to take care of each other. And so, yeah, I'm so glad you hopped in here, Kresha. I'm so glad. I had no idea you were a subscriber here. I'm so glad. I'm so thankful. I'm gonna shoot you an email. I'll send you my phone number. And you guys, thank you, Midwest Night Watchers. They're so awesome. If you guys have not checked out their channel, please do. Yeah, absolutely love Always Wins. Can I tell you, when Midwest Night Watchers, I want to be you guys when I grow up. I was telling Todd about y'all this morning because I want to get you guys to, because Todd loves Bigfoot too. And I was like, they literally do like all night shows. I was like, I want to be them when I grow up. They have a better social life than all of us. They are so cool. I was like, they are so cool. And so guys, please go check them out. They are definitely challenging the narrative with, if you guys didn't catch our latest episode with all the ancient paintings that have some weird shit going on, and those ancient paintings of like aliens, and you guys need to go check that episode out, because the stuff that they have found, it takes all of us, right? It takes a village of all of us pulling this research together and being like, okay, what world were we born into? So yeah, at this point I think maybe Bigfoot just come and be in charge, because I don't know if humans have handled the responsibility too well. So anyway, you guys, again, make sure that you are subscribed to both Midwest Night Watchers and Difficult Research. Go support them. Kresha is also a Southern girl as well. She's from Louisiana, right? Louisiana. Same in the South. They're all in the South. So, and then Midwest, well, obviously Midwest Night Watchers, they're in the Midwest. They're just north of us. So anyway, you guys, well, yeah, Gerald and Jane do great shows. They're like, they party harder than I can. They can stay up all night and do those shows, which is so freaking cool. So yeah, Lake Charles. I know somebody asked, you don't know Ryan, do you? Kresha? I don't think you know Ryan, do you? We can talk about Gypsy Rose together too. Lord have mercy. So, and that is a shit show. Let me tell you guys right there, that whole Gypsy Rose Blanchard nonsense is a shit show. So R.I.P. Dee Dee, like, wrong person. She's not the victim here. Dee Dee is. So anyway, you guys, and those Blazers, man, I feel like, in my opinion, I think they're undergrounders. That's just my opinion. That's a subject I don't even have time to get into. We can talk about undergrounders on another, but that's what I think they are. So anyway, you guys, I love you all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I think Todd and I are going to do weekly lives this next week. We'll probably do it on Saturday, though, if that's cool with you guys, doing it on Saturday, because Sunday I teach in the morning, and then I have a live class Sunday night. So my daughter saw Gypsy in our mall, took her. I was like, no, yeah, Schmurders are not celebrities. She's not a Kardashian, even though she thinks she is. She's not a Kardashian. I mean, I can't. Like, did y'all? Becca Scoop shared the clip where she compared herself to Jesus. Like, I was like, what? What? Anyway, again, if you don't laugh, you'd cry. So, but we're just exposing it all, right? Thank God we're all normal and boring people, because the alternative is not something I would want to be. So I love you guys all, and I will see you guys later this week. Again, make sure, I'm going to put my Substack in the description box once I'm off, along with, I'll put Midwest Night Watchers channel, Kresha's channel, all the stuff. After this uploads, I'll go back in and put it all in the description box, so that you guys can have an easy access, especially for the replay crew, have an easy access to finding these people's, these people, our friends' channels. Be looking out. I can't wait for you guys. I don't know, Kresha, that might be a new rabbit hole for you to go down, as this guy. He's definitely he's heavy. So, and rest in peace to this guy. He was taken out by the elites in 1996 for exposing. So, all right, everybody, I love you guys. Have a wonderful Sunday. Have a wonderful Veterans Day tomorrow. Thank you to all of it's Veterans Day tomorrow, right? Thank you for all of our veterans. And yeah, I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.